Good morning. Hey, welcome to part 5 in our series titled Obedience. It's been a pretty good series, hasn't it? Going through the book of Deuteronomy to Moses is speaking to the Israelites and pulling aspects of his speeches out and how we can apply them to our lives and our own spiritual obedience to the Lord. So yesterday we talked about how we need to pray for others. How when Moses was on the mountain talking to God, receiving the Ten Commandments, the Israelites defied him. They defied God. They went and built an idol, a golden calf. And when Moses came down, he had to destroy it. But he didn't lash out at them. He went back up the mountain and spent another 40 days fasting and praying for God not to destroy the Israelites. He was praying for others and their transgressions. He was being an intercessory prayer warrior. And that's what we need to do. And that's what we talked about yesterday. Today, moving forward with the subject of obedience and the book of Deuteronomy and the fact that Moses had received the Ten Commandments and broke them. I mean, literally, he threw them on the ground and shattered them into a bunch of pieces. He had to do it again. He went back up the mountain, spent more time with the Lord, cut new tablets. And not only that, he built the Ark of the Covenant to put the tablets in. Because obviously, if somebody's going to carry them around, they're going to drop them and break them. Can't have that. So that's what we're going to pick up today. It's in Deuteronomy chapter 10, verses 1 through 5. Let me read these to you. And it says, "At that time the Lord said to me," this is Moses talking, "chisel out 2 stone tablets, like the first ones. Also make a wooden ark, a sacred chest to store them in. Come up to me on the mountain, and I will write on the tablets the same words that were on the ones you smashed. Then place the tablets in the ark." So I, Moses, made an ark of acacia wood and cut 2 stone tablets, like the first 2. Then I went up to the mountain with the tablets in my hand. Once again, the Lord wrote the 10 Commandments on the tablets and gave them to me. They were the same words the Lord had spoken to you from the heart of the fire on the day you were assembled at the foot of the mountain. Then I turned and came down the mountain and placed the tablets in the Ark of the Covenant, which I had made, just as the Lord commanded me. And the tablets are still there in the ark. So, here we are, right? Moses makes the tablets, but God writes on them. Now, I want you to understand something. The 10 Commandments, the tablets, are the only thing in spiritual wording, I can't come up with the right word, that was written by God. Everything else, the Bible included, was written by man. All other spiritual aspects, all other religions, it doesn't matter. Everything was written by man. Now, God, or their God, may have spoke to them to write these things, and fair enough, but they were written by man. The 10 Commandments, the tablets, were written by God. He used his finger and etched the words into the tablets. Keep that in mind. These things are one and only. There's nothing like them. So, you might be asking yourself, we know what the 10 Commandments are. We know the rules. Do you? Do you follow the rules? We're talking about obedience to God, and he gives us 10 rules to live by. These rules were not just for the Israelites at that time. These rules apply across all nationalities, across all timelines, across every generation. It doesn't matter. These rules apply. We're going to look at them real quick. I'm not going to go through and read them all. As they were said in this passage that we just read, he spoke these words to the Israelites. God spoke to the Israelites and said these words. They're found in both Exodus chapter 20 verses 1 through 17 and Deuteronomy chapter 5 verses 6 through 21. I'm not going to go back and read them all. We are going to go through them though. And I want to show you something that's really interesting, at least that I found interesting, and that is this. They're broke down, if you haven't noticed it. Let me read through them. Number 1 through the first 4. Okay, the first 4 say this: I am the Lord your God, and you shall have no other God before me. Number 1, right? God's first. Number 2, you shall not make any idol. No idols. Okay? Number 3, you shall not take the name of the Lord your God in vain. Don't take God's name in vain. And number 4, remember the Sabbath day and keep it holy. Okay? Now, a lot of people want to argue on this number 4th one about when the Sabbath is. The Sabbath is whatever day you choose it to be. And I'm probably going to get some backlash on that. Traditionally, historically, the Sabbath is what we in Western culture would call Saturday, to be perfectly honest with you. It was in, I don't remember what century it was, but the king, the pope, church actually moved it to Sunday to be the Sabbath day. And that's tradition is carried over. But if you read in the New Testament, and I didn't write down the scripture, I don't remember what it is, but Paul, I believe it was Paul, was actually talking and says, if they choose this day to be holy, let it be holy. If they choose that to be holy, let it be holy. It's holy to them. And they're taking time out of their life to set aside a day for rest and relaxation and worship of the Lord. Therefore, it's holy. Okay? So, the Sabbath is whatever day you choose it to be. Just in a nutshell. All right, cool. But the main thing is you keep it holy. Okay? That's the main thing. Those first 4, that's 8, the first 4 all have to deal, they are all defining your relationship with God. The first 4 commandments all define your relationship with God. Right there. Jesus Christ, God is first. God should be first in your life. So the first 4 commandments all deal with your relationship with God. That's pretty simple. Number 5, honor your father and your mother. This is the only commandment that deals with your relationship with your family. It is. And all it says is honor your father and your mother. Pray on that one. Think about it. Now the last 4 or 5, read through them. What do they say? Thou shalt not kill. Thou shalt not commit adultery. Thou shalt not steal. Thou shalt not bear false witness about your neighbor. And thou shalt not covet. Not just covet, but cover your neighbor's house, cover your neighbor's wife, cover your neighbor's property, animals, cars, vehicles, whatever. Thou shalt not covet. If you notice, those last 5 all deal with your relationship with other people. Now, in Disciple Christian Motorcycle Club, we have a hierarchy of faith. It is simple. It is God, family, work, club. God comes first, your family comes second, your work comes third, and Disciple Christian Motorcycle Club comes fourth in your life. Okay? Did you notice what God did here? He broke down the 10 Commandments. God, family, others. God's first, then your family, then other people. Don't forget that. Don't put others in front of your family. Don't put others in front of God. Don't put your family in front of God. Stick with the 10 Commandments. The hierarchy is there for a reason. So, to break all this down today, because we're running out of time, how does this affect your obedience? Your obedience to God is 100% impacted by your obedience to each one of these 10 Commandments. God put it out there for you to do. God actually made it pretty simple. I mean, it's kind of point blank, cut and dry. There's 10 of them. There's not 15. There's not 500. Man went and made 800 something rules based off these 10 commandments, which are just redonkulous. Do these 10. Do these 10 commandments. And you'll be amazed at where your attitude, your mental mind, and your physical mind end up. So, my daily drink for you to do today is this. Break down the 10 commandments in your life. Think about them. Think about which ones you're adhering to. Think about which ones you're falling short on. Make a list. Hang them up in your house if you don't already, where you see them. You can talk about it. Visit with your spouse about it. Talk to your kids about it. Don't beat them over the head with it. Just bring it up. See where you can work on and improve. So, plain and simple, obedience is following the 10 commandments. See how much deeper we get in tomorrow. Y'all be blessed. I'm going to get back to work. We'll talk to you later.